Peace, y'all. This is ICC, representing X-Clan Gaming. Today, we have Mutant League Football. Mutant League Football is a sports game by Electronic Arts for the Sega Genesis. For some reason, it was not released on the Super Nintendo, but knowing Nintendo and how they reacted to Mortal Kombat, maybe it was the blood and violence. It was released in 1993, and the game uses the same engine as Madden 93. So anyone who has played that will be able to pick up on this rather quickly. There are a total of 16 teams, 8 in each division, plus an additional 3 all-star teams. An all-star team for each division, and then the third is the League All-Stars, which have all of the best players regardless of team or division. The game takes place in an apocalyptic future, and the players are now aliens, zombies, skeletons, and generally dead things. You can bribe the ref, or if you don't like one of his calls, you can kill the ref. But it will result in a 5-yard penalty for ref bashing. You can also kill opposing players. If you kill enough players on the other team, they will be forced to forfeit the game. There is an option to turn this off, so it's not a big deal if you want to play the entire game regardless of what happens. If the other team is playing very aggressive, you can wire the ball for death, and it will look like a fumble, but the ball is now explosive. So as they recover what they thought was a turnover, it happens to be their death. There are a few different types of fields for you to play on. You may play in outer space, or you may end up in a graveyard, or even a minefield. The fields have different types of obstacles and traps, so be careful or you might even kill your own player. Avoid fire pits, avoid bombs, avoid mines, avoid everything but the end zone. Flying off the side looks bad and it looks like it will kill your player, but this actually doesn't affect anything, so don't worry about that. The game has decent graphics for the time. It looks like any Madden game of the era, besides the fact all the players are dead. It always has this same view. The player with the ball will always be going up to score, while on offense, obviously you can run or pass, but this is where some of them dirty tricks come into play, like wiring the ball for death. If you pass the ball, try to remember the routes the wide receivers will run. 3 windows will appear at the top, and you should throw to the most open player. If you run, just try to follow your blockers. You can spin, dive, and try to break as many tackles as possible. On defense, you pick a man and roll. Try to remember if you pick zone or man and what your man is doing in that play. You don't want to leave your zone vacant and they throw right over the top of you to the guy you should be covering. You can also try to hit the opposing player as hard as possible to take them out of the game for good. If successful, you will kill them. The controls are decent as well. Football games don't usually age very well, usually because the rosters and graphics are both dated. However, this game has lots of little interesting things that will keep you invested, and the roster was never real to begin with. Some of the players' names are a joke and refer to real-life players, such as Scary Ice and Joe Magician. But the star of the game, in my opinion, is Bones Jackson. An obvious play on words referring to Bo Jackson, and the funny thing is, on this game, Bones Jackson is also the best player. I try to get him the ball as much as possible, however, he is no Bo Jackson. The music is probably the least attractive part of this game. It's on the Genesis and it has that Genesis twang. It wasn't always a bad thing and some games worked around it like a pro. However, Mutant League Football is not necessarily one of those games. The music is very twangy, sometimes too much. That's one of the reasons I would have loved to see this game on the Super Nintendo, but it was never meant to be. A year later, EA released Mutant League Hockey, but after this game, the series was never heard of again. There was rumored to be a Mutant League Basketball in the works, but it never saw the light of day. There was also a cartoon based on the Mutant League series. It aired for 2 years with 40 episodes. About a year ago, in 2015, I saw some screenshots and even a trailer for a new Mutant League Football. We can only hope this is real and improves upon the original. If it does, you just might run into ICC in an online match. I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.